Hey everyone! Today we are diving into a really interesting spiritual guide that totally flips the script on the whole idea of finding a soulmate. It suggests a different approach, one that's all about self-control, discipline, and responsibility. Let's get right into it. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll tackle the whole soulmate illusion. Then we'll look at romance versus the hard reality of relationships. After that, we'll get into what true love actually is from this perspective. Lay out a practical path to discipline, and then wrap it all up by applying this wisdom to a real-life student's problem. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the soulmate illusion. This starts with a question that I'm pretty sure almost all of us have asked ourselves at one point or another. Yeah, that one. How do you naturally find the person of your heart, your soulmate? It sounds like such a pure, simple desire, right? But the source material we're looking at pushes back on this idea hard, and with a pretty surprising take. Okay, check out this analogy. Aladu is a really popular sweet in India. So what this is really asking is, why chase after this super tempting, sweet idea of a soulmate if it's just going to lead to regret down the line? It's a way of saying that this so-called natural path to love, it's not nearly as simple as we've been led to believe. And here's the reason why. According to this perspective, our minds just don't run on logic. They run on whims, on whatever feels good in the moment. And trying to build a lifelong partnership based on something that unpredictable, well, you can see how that might not work out naturally. This really sets the stage for a much more grounded look at relationships. Which brings us right into Section 2, romance versus reality. This is where we really get into the nitty-gritty, the huge gap between that initial fairy tale spark and the day-to-day work of a real commitment. And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the romance phase. It's all wandering around, eating out, that intense feeling of attraction. It's fun. But then you look at the other side, the reality of marriage. Suddenly it's about responsibilities, pleasing families, household chores, providing for people. That is a massive shift in focus. And the source argues that these modern, uncommitted relationships can be incredibly expensive for young people. I'm not just talking about money. They drain your time, your potential, your creativity. And here's a fascinating little twist. The source even suggests mobile companies are profiting from keeping us stuck in this cycle of intense, texting-based attraction that doesn't really go anywhere. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one single question. Forget the romance for a second. Are you actually ready to take on responsibility? Not just for you, but for the person you're with. This is presented as the real foundation, the thing that moves a relationship beyond just a fleeting feeling. Okay, so if it's not about finding a soulmate and it's all about responsibility, then what even is true love? That leads us perfectly into Section 3, where we're going to move past biology and into a more spiritual definition. According to this source, true love is a state where you're not making any demands. It's not about what you can get from someone, it's all about what you can give. The patriotism example makes it super clear. You love and sacrifice for your country without expecting a specific personal reward. It's all about selfless giving. And here the line in the sand gets drawn even sharper. Spiritual love is an act of surrender, of giving. Lust, on the other hand, which is called calm here, is the total opposite. It's a biological demand to take, to get someone to satisfy a need. And the source argues that since this drive is so powerful, especially when you're young, discipline becomes absolutely essential. So you might be asking, okay, if these impulses are totally natural, what am I supposed to do about them? Well, that's exactly what Section 4 is for. It gives us a practical guide, the path of discipline. This is all about how you can manage and actually transform those impulses. And here is the game plan, a clear 5-step path. First, get a routine. No idle time for your mind to wander. Second, get involved in a good community or satsanga and stay busy with positive things. Third, eat light, simple food at night. Fourth, a busy day helps you sleep early and deeply. And finally, before bed, focus your mind on your big life goals, your life image. It's a whole-body approach to channeling your energy in the right direction. All right, for our final section, let's take all this theory and see how it actually applies in the real world. We're going to look at a classic situation, a student's dilemma. Now, this is such a critical distinction. The source says it is totally normal and healthy to like someone. That's just affection.
The problem starts when that affection turns into an affliction, basically a kind of love sickness or love madness that throws you off balance and starts wrecking your other duties, like your studies.
So the advice given here is incredibly down to earth. Your number one job is to keep yourself balanced. If you end up getting married and everyone's on board, awesome. But, and this is the really important part, if it doesn't happen, you have to be mentally prepared to accept that outcome calmly without letting it completely derail you. And now really brings us to the final thought here. This whole guide challenges us to look past all the fairy tale romance and ask ourselves a pretty tough question about our own feelings. So I'll leave you with this. Is the affection in your life a source of healthy balance, or has it become a distracting disease? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.